Welcome, sir.
See what's going on. The pain is still ongoing. I was put on a muscle relaxant, but my doctor, that's when I developed the tremors, and my doctor said to like stay off it for a while.
Welcome.
And I just got an appointment for a
Please,
neurologist.
if you have a sound on your background, please just try to minimize the sound that might be coming from your background.
Well, let me. I'm just going to a meeting. I'll call you back and we'll talk for the later.
Okay.
I don't know, is everybody hearing me clearly? Is everybody hearing me clearly?
Yeah, sure, I'm hearing clearly.
All right.
Yes, we can.
Thank you so much. We are expecting 30 people on this call, but we're not going to wait for everyone to join because we want to keep to time and we want to see how if we can finish this within 45 minutes. So thank you, Valerie, for joining. Thank you. So we have 6 people. So while this is going on, I will we'll just go straight to the point of the meeting. So what we are having, it takes a village to raise a child. This is our second edition of this event, but this time around, because of COVID and because of the reviews we got from the last meeting that we did, that's why we want to make sure that we have children that will be listening to what will be going on and participating in the event. So for those of us that are on the group, virtually everyone is on the group. We have 14 people that will be on the panel, and let me go through the number so that people will know those that will be on the panel.
Sorry, Helen, do you want to? Well, sorry, this is Alfred. Do you want to wait till just maybe like 6:01 or 6:02?
Okay.
So we
601
can
or
have
602.
people.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay,
Or maybe
sir.
6:05.
Okay, thank you, Aga.
So you
Thank
can
you,
have
sir.
on the panel.
So the people you are seeing, if you can make your face so I can see your face, the reason why we want to see your face so that when we come that day, you will be able to start recognizing the people that will be in the panel with you, so that you will know their faces, that the people that are there, because we will try and tell the parents that are not on this panel and they are not volunteering to drop their kids, while the people that are volunteering will stay. So if you can make us see your face,
Maybe this
so
week.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, so that everybody will know who is on the line, so that they will recognize your face. By the time we all come in, we'll know these are the people that are in the panel with us. So I'm not the person in charge of this, I'm just holding forth for Mr. Charles.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, Mr. Charles, take it from there, please, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Charles.
Yes, sir. So we're still
Is my face there?
Yeah, we can see you, Maria.
Okay.
Sorry, Charles, go on.
Hi.
Okay, awesome.
all right. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good
Yeah,
afternoon.
good afternoon.
Yes, thank you very much for joining. And I think it's 6 o'clock. You might as well get started. I'm just checking here to see how many people we have and how many people are joining in as well.
I don't know if there are
So
people.
it says we've got 9 participants.
Yes, 9. Sorry, unfortunately, I'm just using my phone here, so I'm just flipping through the screens. I'm just on the road.
I'll help you every now and again. I'm on a computer.
Okay.
We've got Valerie, we've got myself, Olajide, there's Helen, There's Mr. Ahmad, there's Moria Iyangolu, there's yourself, Charles, there's Nazra, Vicky, and Niasa. There's 9.
Okay.
Helen said we're expecting 30. Is that right?
Yes, sir. We're expecting 30 people.
We can give it maybe a minute or so, and then we can start.
So if I will count, the other people that are there are actually supposed to be parents. So people that are going to be on the panel of discussants are actually 14 people in the amongst the panel of discussants. The other people are the parents of the kids that are likely not going to be inside the hall. So
Okay.
basically, the people that need to be on this, that is so important for them to be here, are the discussants, the technical crew, that's the volunteers that will be helping us with setting up of things. And the parents, what we might be expecting from the parents is ideas on what they want us to discuss. So we don't know who has, we need to mute to keep that sound.
All right, I'm back here. Sorry, I'm just having some connection issues here, Helen. Just give me a second.
Okay. Okay. So we don't know who has that sound, where the sound is coming from.
Might be, is Niasa there? I can see everybody else is muted.
Is mine muted?
Okay, Niasa, you're still open.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Let me mute. Okay, I'll mute. Okay, thank you.
It isn't
Okay.
Niasa.
So we asked to unmute Vicky. So we have the people. 4 people. Oh, 4 people are admit all. Okay, they up admit all. Okay, awesome. Admit all the people that were on the waiting list.
Oh, perfect. So,
Yes,
oh yeah,
admitting
perfect.
everyone.
Yeah,
Awesome.
perfect.
Need to unmute.
Yeah, so yeah, please unmute yourself.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. I think we have most of the people. We have most of the people. We have most of the people that are going to be on the panel that are here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we have most of the people. Thank you so much, Councillor Ray Watkins. 10.
You got 13.
Yeah, admit. Yeah.
Now 13.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mr. ID is just joined.
Yeah.
Hello, good evening.
Welcome.
Good evening.
Yeah, sorry, I'm having some connection issues here, Helen.
Okay, so I will just go straight to what we are expecting. The time now is 6:05. We'll just go straight. We want to see how we can make sure that by 6:45 we are done this meeting. So how we want to start the event, the venue is booked from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. And because of setting up time, we have to extend our opening time so that we can have more time to set up, because we'll have people that are going to be joining us online. So we are opening the place up by 2:30 p.m. for us to set up, because we'll have streaming. We'll be able to stream and set up to stream the event. So the space opens up by 2:30. So we're going to be encouraging everyone to please come on time. And if you've been attending our events, you know we don't do African time. We go straight. If you say we're starting by 3 p.m., we're starting by 3 p.m. ready to roll. Okay, so that's one item that 2:30, we are opening the place to set up, and by 3 p.m. on the dot, the event will start. That means all our members of the panel should already be there and seated for us to start rolling by 3 p.m. prompt. Then number 2 item, how we plan to start is by introductions of members of the panel. How will you want this introduction to be? Please, your feedback. How will you want this introduction to be? Will you just say, my name is ABCD, I'm a medical doctor working with da. I schooled there, that, and how do you want us to be? So that we know how it will go, so that we'll be timing how much time. We have 2 hours for this whole event. So how will you want us to go about this introduction?
First of all, we would like to know how many people are presenting, how many people are going to be on the panel. How many people?
Okay, so on the panel, we are going to have 14 people. And those 14 people are, let me, according to this list that I have here, I have Dr. Jide. Dr. Jide is here. I have ID Abonison, safety professional. I have Councillor Ray Watkins. Councillor Ray Watkins is here. So let me become 1, 2, 3. Torisha Lagoke is a chartered accountant. For Barrister MM Mado is here. Lawyer. I got Ahmed Sani. I got Jean Bosco, the teacher, the junior high teacher in our community. I have Victoria Okeme, she's the builder. Vicky, she's there. I have Moria Inyang Otu. Moria, she connected, I think she's off now. Moria's used to there. Moria is a grade 12 child. She's an author, she's an artist, and she's a research assistant to the University of Alberta. So we want a younger input from that age group. And we also have Moranica Olasi Beko. She's a pharmacist and owns a pharmacy shop. We have Valerie. Valerie is a registered nurse. Valerie is here today. We have Anthony Benson. He's here too. He's an investment professional. And who else did we have about it? Let's see. And we also have Brian Syria. Brian Syria is a young boy in our community. He's in his second year in the university. Is it university or Grand McEwen? That's where it is. So we have that combination. So let me count now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, we also have Victor Adewumi, a civil engineer. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So we actually have 14 people on the panel.
Okay, so the reason I'm asking is if we have 14 people, maybe a brief introduction, maybe a minute or less, that would do. Just the name, what they do, where they work, that should be fine. They can explain the other things much more later in the Q&A session.
Any other input? Yes, sir, Mr. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, if we have 2 hours total for all the presentations and the Q&A. Okay,
yes,
so that
sir.
if you have 14 people, just to get 14 people to talk, that's 8.5 minutes a person without any Q&A. So, you know, you're going to have, like, I almost think that the person who talks should just introduce themselves. It's just going to save time. Instead of somebody coming on and saying, this is Ray Watkins, he's a counselor. I'll just come on and I'll say, I'm Ray Watkins, I'm a counselor. Here's my education, and then just go into your speech. Because with this with this many people, and only, like I say, if you take 14 people and divide it by 2 hours, that's 8.5 minutes a person. And you know, people are going to go over and some people are going to go short. So I would just recommend that you just introduce yourself. And if everybody keeps their comments to like their total presentation, introduction and everything to like 6 minutes, then we'd have like, you know, 6 times 14, what's that? like 90 minutes, you'd have like 20 minutes for questions, you know? So
Mhm.
I think you have to do something like that. We have to keep people on a clock, or else everybody's going to run over and we're never going to get to questions, and we're never going to get to 14 people.
Okay.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, thank you. So because the questions each person is going to be bringing on the table is different, especially for the younger people.
Mhm.
There are going to be different questions that will be coming on board. So how this is first introduction. So let's we'll be estimating that to be like 14 minutes, like a minute per person for starting. Then the next question and answer session. What I was thinking is that if we can generate questions young people ask,
Mhm.
that's the next questions young people ask.
I think I have a difference of opinion here.
Okay.
You will want the young people to drive basically the questions, because you want to meet a need versus us assuming what young people are wrestling with in the times that we live in. So I think if there is a way, those that have signed up, we can have a bit of question from them beforehand, and that will help tailor some of the presentation introduction to that effect, to make sure that at least those needs are being met.
Can I say something, Helen?
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, it's Nyasa Jallo here. My suggestion is to list in the group everybody who gonna give a speech and their profession, and then we're gonna show it to our kids. Each one of us are responsible for that, and then ask the kids what question they have, and each one of them write their question. And I think when we get there, we maybe write it down and hand it to one person who can read all the question, and I think that might save time too.
Okay, that's a good. So, okay, list the professions. Okay.
So this is Olajide here. I would actually agree with the two previous speakers. I think a lot of, if we only have 2 hours and we've got 14 professionals, it's almost like an overkill. But I suppose the idea is to show our younger people what they can achieve. So that's a good thing. A lot of work is going to have to be done by whoever is moderating on the day. And so therefore it would be very good to have questions beforehand. And I would agree with Councillor that we should probably just keep the introductions, especially if we've already introduced everybody on before, and we've been able to show them to our kids, so that, you know, if they had any specific questions they wanted to ask any specific professional, then that will be there before, and that will save a lot of time.
Okay. So what we're saying is that we list the professionals that are coming on board on the group, and let parents ask their kids what kind of questions they will like for these people to respond to. How about at the end of the day, some of the children, somebody will say, I don't even have any plan. What do we do? How do we help, you understand, in such a situation?
I'll also like to chip in here. It's a very good idea to have the questions, ahead of time, so we know the kind of questions they want us to address. But at the same time, I'm also thinking that, just you asking, bringing this up, that, some people may not even know what they want to be. So we may have to just add some few questions to kind of tailor their mind to thinking towards, the kind of things we would like, them to, be thinking about. So we can add some of those things as well. But it's very important that we get questions from the kids as well.
Hi, I'm Mariah here. Yeah, I think I think at this age, it's pretty normal for us to have questions about what we're going to be. For me, I'd encourage the kids to branch out into different volunteer opportunities or to different schools. Usually our school offers us ideas, or like they give us ways to volunteer in our community. And that's how I found out what I want to be. Like for instance, for me, I did research at U of A, and that helped me figure out like what I like doing. So we'd encourage them to like experiment in their community. So that's what I think.
Thank you. Ask them to experiment. So, okay, so different views now. So one, based on the feedback, we will list out the different professions that will be coming on board on the group, so that parents will ask their kids what kind of questions they will have for this children. That's one, list out. Two, according to Mr. Anthony's suggestion, is wanting the kids to drive the question and answer session. How about if we, because we were all once kids and we have now grown to this, if we can also generate questions that we'll put in a box and let the kids pick those questions. It will be called questions young people ask. Because if we search online, we'll be able to see different questions. We'll be able to see questions young people ask and put it in a box. So they all pick the question. So either a child has the question, if the child doesn't have the question, to make sure that every child that comes there participates in that event. We now have these questions that we will all squeeze, so that each child, as you're getting up to ask your question, you say, my name is this, I plan to be that, or this is my question. So if you don't have a question, it will be a question that you pick from the box. But we will make the children drive those questions in that they will be the ones asking it. Either the question didn't come from them directly, or the question they picked from the box is still looking at, we're going to find out what are the questions young people ask. Okay, Valerie, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question, Erin. Another option is that in a room, we will have children that already know what they want to do. We'll have children that are undecided of what they want to do. What I think we can do is just everybody in the panel just kind of quickly talking about their profession. And at the end, we can let those children know that if they want to know more about a specific profession, that at the end, they can meet the person that is in that profession to give them to answer more of the questions they might have. So that's another option. Okay. When do we have to be out of the room? What time do we have to be out of the hall? And if a child is really, really interested in that profession, the child will wait and ask more questions, or at least take the contact of that person in that profession to kind of follow up about the education and whatever the question the child has to know about the profession. So I think that's another option, because answering all the children's questions that evening will not be possible. So that's an option. At the end, every child meeting the person the child wants to meet, and at least take the contact, or maybe answer the question privately if the child has, if those children have more questions. That's another option.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Ahmed, you have your hands up. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I just want to ask, because I started thinking when Councillor Watkins was saying, was calculating time. And my question is like, what exactly would be our objective? Is it like the young lady just said now, how to get kids to think into how they can get into certain things? Or is it to talk about the subject area to them to say, okay, this is what I do, this is what you need to do to be able to do what I do? What would be, because when I think of myself, the way, like he said earlier, she got motivated what she want to do by the work that she was doing. I got into my own profession by something similar, and I know a lot of people who were able to say so many things. So considering that the time is not enough, I think the thing is to really define the main objective. Is it introducing the profession to kids? Is it to let them because how many professions are we introducing to them? And is it to let them say, this is how to reason if you want to do this, get into this, or something similar? Like I would expect an engineering engineer person to talk generally about engineer rather than talk about only civil engineering, if you understand what I mean, because it's a wider field that covers. Of course, there will be references to what the person has been able to do as a civil engineer, but the discussion, the few minutes of introducing, if you ask me to talk about IT, for instance, information and communication technology is a very wide field, and people mistake it for just coding and all that. It goes beyond that. So what exactly would we be looking at giving to these kids in that short time, considering that we have so many people on the panel? So that's my, I think if we start from there, I think we should be able to do the so.
Okay, so for starters, the essence of this event is to create a picture for our children that these are the people in our community that they were once like them and have become successful in the same community. So we want to create a picture of the people in their own village that have succeeded, and for them to run with that picture that we are people that are successful. That's for starters. And two is to help them think, because we've had children to say, I don't even know what I want to become. We've had children, we have parents that have told me that my child said, I don't even know what I want. They're in grade 10. Some of them, somebody says, I want to be a comedian. So it's just as if it's a little bit hazy in them. They don't want. So it's to help them, to make them think that the people that are in this panel were once children like them, and they planned and began to think about what they want to be. So one, creating that picture of success in your community and helping them to begin to think. So I know we will not be able to expound everybody's profession. You understand? Like Valerie said, at the end of the day, because the event is supposed to end by 5 p.m., what we are going to do is to make time to allow children. I know it's COVID, everybody will have a mask, to see if anybody wants to come and interact more with each of this profession. You understand? Professionals from our community. You understand? This is a time. Either we'll create like the last 15 minutes of the event or so, or last 10 minutes, you understand, to let them to move towards to hear more from the people that they will be interested in what they do.
I think I'll add a few points to it. Number one, the times and era we live in, it really has changed. The era of 40, meaning 40 hours a week, and then 40 years, and then you get your golden watch, is in the past. Now, businesses and individuals are beginning to retool. All professions assemble here are beginning to retool to reflect the future. We don't know where we're going to land from that perspective. So nothing is certain from this aspect. But what is certain is that we have humans that are very agile. What is certain, in order not to get to the nitty gritty of every profession or professionals, is your personal story. And I think that's where you're trying to get at. It's not so much as whether you're an engineer, lawyer, doctor, whatever. It's how do you started your journey, the challenges, and how you overcame it. At least if you're able, in the introduction and then in the presentation phase, you're able to basically connect. Then they will be able to identify with you. And that's where you sort of get a spin-off in terms of question, in terms of casting the vision for them, that any and everything is possible. And I know in my profession, you've seen people doing policy, they ended up as investment analysts and so forth. And then the list goes on unabated. And that's the dynamism of the world in which we live in. Now, kids at school, they are being taught how to program because of AI, artificial intelligence, and so forth. Again, the point is that you don't want to sort of create a situation in which they see themselves as a nurse. Even if they might see themselves as a nurse, nurse can do more. Even if they see themselves as doctors, doctors can do more. Even if they see themselves, whichever profession they are, we should think local and think global, right? Because there is so much good that if you look at, where we've come from in terms of the energy sector, much of the innovation driving the US came from Alberta. It didn't come from US. So again, thinking beyond, our community, but first tapping on the inner resources and the talent that is available. So if we're able to cast the vision for them, in between, we're here collectively to provide that support and guidance. But the key to it is the personal story, and it has to be through the introduction. And that's, as Black people, to be honest with you, you may not like me, we don't tell our story. And that's one thing that the white people have as an added advantage. We think our story is horrible. It may be horrible, but that's how we pick ourselves. And that's where we are. Each and every one of us on this platform have a story. And that's the story that, empower them to be where they are and continue to drive them through. So if we can knock that in their head, I think that would be a powerful milestone that we're able to accomplish.
That's excellent. Thank you.
Yeah,
Really,
that's
I love that. That's resonating a lot with me. Thank you.
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah,
That is
yeah. I think that's a good idea. I think that's yeah. Our story will be important for them to hear. So I think that's a good idea. Yeah.
that's very well said as well. And I guess the question then is, how do we fit that in 2 hours with 14 presenters, and also be able to allow for time for questioning right at the end? So
I think one of the things that would help is the questions we get from the children before the event is something that could be factored into our presentation. So if we know that these are areas of interest, then when you're making your presentation, you make sure you cover those areas. That reduces the questions that would come from that angle. And then each person, kind of makes it as brief as possible to leave room for questions that may come, because there are things you would say from your personal story, which may lead and may drive more curiosity about, okay, how did you overcome that, or how do we factor that in?
Thank you. Councillor Ray wanted to say something.
Yeah, I was going to say I agree with that. So it's basically going to have to be about 5 or 6 minutes a person, and you're going to have to basically say, like, a little bit of my story, like a little bit of your story, like, I came from here, I took this degree, and I ended up being this, which is whatever, accountant, and then an accountant is generally this. So you kind of have to give your journey, but you also have to kind of at least state like what an accountant is, or what a developer is, or what a thing is. And you don't have to go into too much detail, but you kind of have to say, here's why I got there. Here's how I got there with this kind of education. And here's what it is. It's this, an accountant is this. And, like if even just an accountant, you can say, I'm a CPA, I'm a, certified professional management accountant, I'm a management accountant, I'm a general accountant. You can't go into so much detail because you only got like 5 minutes. You just have to kind of say, accounting is this, and this is how I got to be an accountant.
Can I say something too?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I feel the panels are so many. That's 14 people in 2 hours. I feel that probably we should divide it into two. Give it like 7 people, 7 professions that can talk at the beginning, while the other 7 could be at the bench, if as in after the first introduction, because first and foremost, those 14 people should introduce themselves, probably my name and your profession, and that ends it. and then 7 out of these will stand up and give a talk. And then when the question comes, if peradventure on the bench, a question goes to somebody that didn't speak, and then we could now ask the person to say a little more on his or her story, and then answer the question. With that, we'll be able to manage the time, because truly 2 hours, I have been on an event that they will even have up to 5, 6, 7 hours, and yet isn't enough, because for you to explain something for kids or children at a very short time, I mean, you're not doing them. We might end up confusing them the more.
Okay, what are your thoughts?
It's a good point. You know, generally speaking, in Canada, we have, it's a universal standard, what we call gigs. We have 10 sectors, and then each sector have subsectors and so forth. So you can, to Vicky's point, you can cascade it to either 7, or you can go 10, and each sector, let's say there are two individuals on the panel that can speak to that sector. They can each alternate to address any questions that comes up from that perspective.
Okay. So what Vicky is saying, to break down the panel into 2. Mr. Charles, what are your thoughts? Because it's good. Councillor Ray helped us break down the time that we have. The time that we have 8.5 minutes per person in total when we consider the time. So that means we really do real time keeping to make sure that anybody that is speaking is keeping to time.
Yeah.
Hello.
I'm okay.
Hello.
We can.
Yeah, somebody talking.
Can I talk?
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yes, I was just asking, is it possible to have like a divided room there?
Divided?
Like 2 rooms, is it possible?
No, sir. Unfortunately,
Okay, that would be great.
we just booked the main hall of the Senaba Community Hall, and based on COVID regulations, we're only allowed 50 people, and based on that number, we currently have 31 kids booked to come.
Okay.
And we have 14 professionals. Under this 14 professionals, amongst those 14, we actually have young people in our midst. We have Moria Inyangotu, she's a grade 12. She's a grade 12 kid, and she's also already, I know she already has admission into the university, you know, based on what she has done over time. And we also have Brian. Brian, are you still here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so Brian is a young man. He is in second year of his university. So Brian will not be talking from an area of a professional. He'll be talking from an area of his experiences, because he's a young man that has just I think Brian said he did his grade 12 outside the country, right? So he came in. You understand? He came in and he's doing his year 2. So his experience is not as the professional. He's going to be talking from the point of view of a young man. What will you be telling people? You understand that you understand he has a very close experience to some of the kids that are there, because we're only accepting kids grade 7 to grade 12. So he'll be able to speak also if you are a young man and you are in grade 7. Now, what will you be telling your younger self? So they will be bringing, Moria and Brian will be bringing a different kind of information to the young people, because they are young, right? What will you be telling your younger self?
Okay. All right. That's cool.
So we basically have 12 professionals and 2 young people that will be speaking.
So
with the number of presenters we have, the time we have, and also we need to allow for question time, and also maybe respond to some online questions that might come through Zoom. I think it might be a good idea just to reduce the number of presenters to allow everybody enough time to present.
Can I make a recommendation because I also think the number of presenters is a lot, but like there are a couple of things. There are a couple of objectives that I've identified. The first one is we're trying to show that there are successful people in the community that have gone through and can be like the kids. So that is fine. For those type of things, yes, the more the merrier. The more you're able to show what people are doing, the more it is that you get the objective. But I want to align with, I think it was Vicky, I'm not sure. Somebody's talked about splitting it into two. Mm-hmm. There are some, like the two younger guys that you said, right? I think they need more time. They need more time to be able to talk and answer questions. There will be questions directed at them because the kids will be able to relate with them. That's one. So with some people, maybe 5 or 6 people, you can allocate more time. And then for the remaining, it's either you use 2 minutes or 3 minutes, introduce yourself, talk about what you do, talk about what motivated you in 2 minutes, and then that ends there. But if there are questions, we can take questions, then everybody can get involved in the question. So I guess it's like identifying, apart from those, the 2 young kids, about 3 more that we like. I would suggest somebody like Watkins, because it is a community thing, right? And that's affecting us. Then find 1 or 2 more people. Maybe you pick the doctor, I don't know, but you pick people that you give like 5 minutes, and then they would be able to say more things to what they have to say and give ideas. And then the remaining time, you leave it for questions. Or if there are not enough questions, then you can start bringing in individuals. I think I had Dr. Droja saying this earlier. I think, Charles, I think you are the moderator. I think a lot falls on you as the moderator we have to look at the time. So that is my idea, my suggestion as to how we can go about this. That's what I can say.
Okay. All right, thank you very much for your input. One other thing I did mention to Helen as well, that unfortunately I might be out of the country those days, but we might have to find somebody else to moderate. But more than willing to help at the moment. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Moria.
I have a question. Is it possible and or appropriate to have people's contact information in case the kids have more questions as a way to save time? Like, and in case they're too shy to ask the questions like during the time. So.
Yeah, that's excellent idea. Okay, have contacts. Okay, so that means we'll share contacts of those on the panel. Okay, with kids. So yes, we'll have contacts, yeah, of those, so that we'll ask more questions after the event is over. And just to let us know, I also told Mayor Kati about this event, and she said she would like to stop by in the event, during this event. So maybe we might give her 1 minute to greet or something. So I don't really know how she will come in, but she said she's going to come for this event. So basically what we have. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Councillor Ray. That's awesome. Awesome. That's why we're so happy to have you. Councillor Ray will moderate on our behalf. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
If CT can't make it, I can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate. Thank you, sir. I appreciate this. That's awesome. So basically, from what we have spoken so far, the event was because we've not started dropping to say who is talking, we want to introduce everybody first on the panel. And we will now let everyone go, everybody go back with information about the different professions that will be coming and the different people that will be on the panel, so that kids will speak with your children to say, this is an event that is coming up. These are the people that will be coming on the panel. What questions would you like to ask them? So that we gather these questions and begin to know how many questions we're going to have. That's one thing we'll encourage parents, and I will text on the group to tell parents that please send in your questions and possibly the name of your child that will be asking this question, so that we have those questions ready and we'll pass it on to the professionals. So we have that ready. So one is the introductions. We will try to keep within 1 minute of the introductions. And number two is telling your story according to the suggestion from Mr. Anthony. So are we saying that we should just select people to tell their story instead of everybody telling their story? What are we, tell your story, how you got to where you got to. Okay, somebody has a hand up.
Well, you have to weave it through your introduction, right? So you can't just say I'm an accountant. How do you get there, right? You can't just say I work for the city of Edmonton. How did you get there? You sort of have to also combine the soft skills, right? The very things they are taught at home, right? I know what to say because those are the things that sometimes they forget. They think I'm smart. Smartness alone cannot get you far. And so those are, things that we have to bring alive, that whatever you're being taught in class, whatever you're being taught at home, or maybe you find yourself volunteering, it very much, helps you along the way. And then if you end up being an accountant, a lawyer, an engineer, you draw on those, virtues or qualities to help you to excel from that dimension.
Okay. So, go ahead, sir.
I think if say, like, we're not going to have time to get through all 14 people, like everybody's saying, and 14 is probably too many. But if everybody had 1 minute of what they, and then secondly, have a 5 minute. So everybody can talk for 5 minutes on their story, or they could talk for 1 minute on an introduction. That's it. And we'll try to get through as many as we can, depending on questions. But everybody will have a 1 minute introduction, and then try to go through as many of the 5 minute ones as we can. And if there's a whole bunch of feedback on a certain one and we want to keep the discussion going, then somebody gets cut off maybe, or somebody doesn't get their 5 minutes, but everybody gets a minute to say, my name's Ray. I started in Windsor. I went to university. I graduated. I always wanted to be a developer, and I finally got there by hard work. And I went to 7 different jobs to finally get to the one, something like that. Quote, minute, done. And then everybody kind of does that little spiel, and then we kind of go back, and people can go and you can pick 7 or 8 or whoever you want to go into depth on their 5 minute thing, and then questions. And so if everybody did a minute, that's 14 minutes. And if everybody did 5 minutes, that's only another 60 minutes. So that's 72 minutes. And it's still another 50 minutes for questions. But people have to, and if I'm the moderator, I'm going to be cutting you off. I'll turn off your mic after 5 minutes. Because we got to keep it rolling, because if somebody rolls on for 15 minutes and nobody stops them, then that's not going to be fair to everybody else. And kids aren't going to learn. So that's kind of my guess, is we should each have a minute, and we should each have 5 minutes, and then kind of roll with it from there. And, between now and then, think of if you want these guys to speak for sure. And then if we have more time, let the other people come in their 5 minutes.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah,
I don't have to agree with me. Everybody can say.
So the question for you, Councillor, what would the 5 minutes be if there's so 1 minute is just to say my name, that's it, and then the 5 minutes when it comes to my turn, I'll talk about my experience and work, or what?
Yeah, a little bit more about your journey, a little more in depth about your journey, maybe these 5 or 6 different jobs you had to get to the final job, or these 3 different kinds of education you had to do, or just a little more detail, I guess, is keep it short in the introduction and then just kind of be able to expand on it again a bit more. And like I said, the idea here is to introduce kids to different professions, explain to them how you get to that profession, and kind of try to pique their interest if that may be something they want to do in the future. So you kind of got to give a little explanation about what it is and what you do every day. As an accountant, I do this every day, or usually do this, or
Can I say
And
something?
I think that's, oh, sorry.
I have a suggestion. I think this is very important for our kids. And then most of us, I went to my oldest daughter's graduation in Paul Kane. There were over thousands of kids graduated, and we had only 2 people who give a speech. But one of the lady that gave a speech, her speech is still in my daughter's head because it wasn't 5 minutes. It's more than that. And if we want our kids to understand and to listen and what they heard, think like stay in their head, like I think the people that's going to give a speech is way too many. If we can have this kind of program, if I may call it, 2 times a year, and people who are very important in our community give we divided them into 2 groups. One give a speech, or like this is summertime, we're going to get this time these people are going to speak, and the next time we're going to have these people speak, because this is important. And like I said, that lady that spoke and my kids one of my kids graduation, that was 3 years ago, and still I can understand and I can hear everything she said, because it wasn't 5 minutes. And some of you have very important journey, like experience that you wanna our kids to know what you went through, because some of you go through a lot of stuff to get where you are today. and and to give a 1 minute speech or 5 minutes, for me, is very small if you want our kids to listen and understand. That's the only suggestion I have for now.
I have um, a counter to it. Um, and that's what Ellen said. She's been trying to give us homework, and the homework to all of us is to go and perfect our story. Get straight to the point, as Counselor was recommending we do. Think of it as an athlete. Think of it as a movie. You're shooting for a movie. You have to practice and practice and practice. Even if you're delivering a presentation, you have to practice. So we owe it to them to also take time to practice what we're going to say. Again, if we do have some of the questions ahead of time, then we can prepare, and hopefully, what it may take, let's say 1 hour to accomplish, we can use 5 minutes given the time to accomplish that.
I just had one comment too on that. It's just that, what are the ages of the kids? If they're kids that are graduating from high school, sure, they're going to listen to 10 minutes. But if it's a kid who's in grade 9 or grade 7, he may not have 10 minutes of listening in him. So what is the age group of the kids like? Because that's one thing we have to consider too. A 10-year-old kid isn't going to listen to 10 minutes, but a 18-year-old kid or a 17-year-old kid will listen to 10 minutes for sure and probably absorb it all. So we kind of also have to know the range of these age kids we're talking to, and we're trying to address all these. We may be trying to address from age 7 to 17. I don't know.
So this time around, we're only having kids that are from grade 7 to grade 12. That means from like 12 years. So it's not like before that every kid was called and we could see that some of the kids were like getting tired.
Yeah.
They were just like raising up their hands constantly. Their hands were up. It looks as if they were tired. So it's just
okay. That's good to know. I just wondered.
And just so you know, Councillor Ray, during our last event had a presentation that was long, And that's one of the things when we got home, my kids kept saying, I really love Chancellor Watkins' presentation. You understand? It was long, but there was something that with the pictures that captivated them.
Yeah.
You understand? So, but when a story, you understand, when a story is very genuine and you plan the story, it will really, really interest the child. It will, they might not think, they might not remember the whole speech, but there will be something that will just hang in them. You understand about that story?
Can I
You
say
understand?
something,
Somebody
Helen?
might say, okay, I got a scholarship. The children will know somebody got a scholarship. So start looking for a scholarship when you get to the time. So it might just be little things they will pick out of it. You know, and I understand Nyasa saying to hold this event, just so you know, it takes a lot of work to organize this event. So it's not you understand, to gather people together like this, it's a lot of work. You understand? So for now, I think it's one that we at least we can do this one, and hopefully when we get more people, will be able to have like 2 in a year. But for now, at least this one, and with this COVID year, at least it took a lot of courage for members of the board to say, yes, let us do this event, because so many people are scared with COVID the virus around. People are scared of coming out to meet with other people. So it took a lot of courage for us to say, you know what, we're going to do this and keep to the regulations that are required. And it took a lot of work for us to even begin to ask people one-on-one. That's why at the end of the day, people might say, oh, we have so many people. It took a lot of work for people to start going to these people, the variety in our community, to get them, you understand, to buy into coming to give. There are some people that say, you know what, no, I don't have a time, or I don't want to do it. So those that have said yes, let us harness the strength. At least the best we could do is keeping to time. Tell your story in such a way that a child will go home with your story in their hearts. I will keep to time so that more people, the more people, the better for us, so that more people will have. Everybody's story is very different. Like me, I started from secretarial administration to wanting to do accounting that did not work, to wanting to do planning, it did not work, and to telling myself, you know what, just grow inside here and just rest. So people have different stories, are just different, but I believe a child will gain from it.
Can you say something, please?
Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that for me, I have kids who are 14 and 15, and I think not everybody, all the speakers wanted to share their stories. So the ones that want to share their stories and the kids can benefit and take something from it, I think those people, we should give them more time for them to speak, so the kids can take something from it, and giving everybody an equal time. And then, you know, not everybody wants to share their stories, so we have everybody to set something, but not something related to the kids, or that would, they would, you know, they would benefit from it. So I think we should focus on motivation for the kids, finish school, then maybe plan to see what they wanted to do in the future. For my boys, for now, it's just for them to get through high school, then, you know, then go from there.
Okay. Finishing high school. So Councillor Ray Watkins as the moderator. I will put this down like part of the things, like that will be part of our finishing talk.
Okay.
Finishing talk to the kids. Finish your high school.
Yeah, finish, get education, get an education.
Get it, and get it with good grades.
Yes.
Because that's the way you can progress. Yeah, finishing talk. That's the one Councillor Ray will add, finishing talk. Finish your high school, finish with good grades, and
work hard. Nothing comes easy. Work hard. You got to go to school. You're not going to get ahead with just a grade 10 education or a grade 12 education. You have to go post-secondary, and you have to excel at post-secondary. And the more you excel, the more likely you are to get free money to go to school.
Yeah. Yeah,
Harder
so you will do that plugin at the end. And so what do we think of having for after 1 hour to give a short break in between, just to do like a team event, like building a team event, short team event for 10 minutes, get them, because there are some kids that are like 2 kids per house that are coming. If or like, so I have like 3, there's a family that has 3 kids coming, and I want 2 to get them to do a short team event, at least to break after sitting down for like an hour, to break that time for at least stretch, do a short team event where they build. What do we think to stretching time or something like that? They do a team event of like building something with paper, just to
If you ask me, I would say we don't have enough time. I think we need a break to just walk around and network or something, but not enough time to do another team event because of hours that is available. But sure, there should be a break after about an hour, even if it's for 5 minutes, and bathroom break, go to the bathroom, or people just walk around and talk to each other. Which
Okay, so because sorry to chip in, because of COVID, there's no kind of a tea break or something.
John, let me also cut in there. We are going to, at the association, we'll be providing snacks to the children, for how we plan to do it as they're coming in, so that as they're coming in, you already have that snack going with you, so that we don't have to be in people's faces. So we're going to have, we're having snack bags, and the Senabat Canets group, immediately after the event, they'll be coming in and giving, because that day is Halloween too. So they'll be coming in with treats for the children. They'll be coming in. So immediately as the event is ending, they'll be coming in with treats for every child in the venue. And it's Halloween. I don't know how many of us, if our kids go trick-or-treating, if they want to dress up, so long as they're not covering their head and their face. I think if any child, so that they do not look, there's some children that some parents had to over encourage them for them to agree to come for an event on Halloween day. So if the kids would tell parents, if your kids go on and they want to, so long as they're not covering their head, because we want to see every child's face that is coming in, you understand? Yeah, they are free to do that, just to also make it kind of fun to them too. If your child normally dresses for Halloween, it's not a compulsory thing. And we're also going to be encouraging people, when you're coming, you don't need to dress over serious, just jeans and something a little bit to make it look a little bit I don't know, relaxed. I don't know how we think, something a little bit more relaxed, kind of thing, so that the children can it doesn't look like we're going for a board meeting.
I think that's important to be, semi-formal, less formal. Yeah. If it wasn't for time, I would have said breakout sessions would have been an excellent idea, because the Councillor was saying there that about concentration span and stuff. But I was even thinking maybe there would be sessions, because then that would give people also the opportunity to go around and try to find a specific question. But yeah, I think the day will be dynamic, and we can just as things go along. The important thing is for people to turn out.
Sorry to come in there. I like that part of the dressing, because we need to dress like them. We need to be UP for them to be relaxed. Because I remember when somebody was doing a youth event, and in fact, when he came out, we were like, oh, whoa, we didn't even record. So if we don't, if we don't bring them together in terms of our dressing, letting them know that we can, we are still there, and then they will be certainly far from us. I know even me, when I have my children's friends are around me, if you see the kind of dressing, the kind of words I'm using and playing, so that I allow them to be relaxed and be free, and talk to me. So I think we should truly appear like the youths of these days. Personally, probably if you have a child of 12, 14, 16, ask them, how would you like me to appear? How do you want me to dress? And definitely they will tell you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we basically have it introductions 1 minute each, and thereafter we tell our stories. We allow questions from children. So we will fine tune this program of events to see how it goes and allocate the time with Councillor Ray and all the different points that people have brought up in this meeting. It's already 7 p.m. You see, the time goes very fast. It's already 7 p.m. and we're thinking it's going to be 6:45. Does anybody have anything? We're recording this particular um, meeting so that we'll share it again so that we know what we talked about while we're planning the program so that everybody knows about what we discussed, like people that joined later to know what the program is and the time, because we're using a public space. We have to keep to time because the event must end by 5 p.m. We can't exceed that time. That's why we encourage people to come on time. That place will be open by 2:30 and we'll start by 3. And we're so happy we have Abby, Ibiku, part of those Ibiku and Ikenna and Adi. There are people that will be on the camera and they'll be on the computer, accepting people online that will be connecting to this event online. So, and the questions we will receive from the parents will determine how long the question session is going to be. And there's a possibility that the questions might come while we're there online or inside the place. And we'll see if we will generate more questions. And we'll post it to the group, the program, some of the questions so that everybody is prepared and we make sure that we deliver an excellent event. So just as we say, all of us are all part of the organizers because it's all our children. It's all the children in our community that we're doing this for, and they're all our kids. So we want them to succeed. So does anybody have anything to add? Because it's already 7:04 and we don't want to drag it for too long.
I wanted to mention something. I feel like that would be, there's someone, I think it's Watkins that said someone should have like 1 minute of introducing themselves and this is what I do, I think that will also be helpful to some of us, it will be also helpful for the connection and they will someone who's one of my friends who maybe is doing something and I find that there's a professional already here who is into that field. It will also be helpful for those who are already into it, but then we'll also be grateful if they got another advanced help. Yeah, if you just understand what I mean.
Thank you very much, Brian. That's excellent. Does anybody have anything to say, or Mr. Charles, you want to take it?
No, I think everything is good now. We can probably wrap it up now, Helen. Thank you very much, everybody, for participating, and thank you very much for your input. As Helen mentioned, we'll finalize the schedule and send it out for review and finalize it from there. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. If you have it, just like I said, if you have anything, please just text it to us. We'll compile, type out all the questions or something like that and let everybody know the questions that are coming, please. Thank you so much, Mr. Charles. Thank you, everyone, for making time to join. Thank you, Councillor Ray.
Thank you.
We're so happy you're going to be moderating. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
All right. Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Night.